Alright, I had some time to get this video out tonight. So I wanted to do a couple of things actually. First, before we get into that jackpot thing, I wanted to address just a couple more little doodads that I wanted. Wanted to see if we could do a round of explosions. I just want a little bit more variety in our explosions. Right now I currently use this guy for pretty much everything, this frame here. And I think I even have it pulled up here. And I was thinking about doing like a little RNG for like the bigger enemies and having them, randomly choose like one of four different explosions. And the way I would like to do that is just to get some different ones from you, if you're willing to do them for me. I like this one. I really do. It's a beautiful sprite. It really is. I love this sprite. But it's very cloudy. It's very puffy, which is good. But I want to start getting into fire. I want more of like a blast. Like these frames is all very puffy, very cloud, very smoky. I want like the feeling of energy and fire and more of a blast than like a clouded explosion. And I want to kind of go off of something that you've already done. This is actually my Twitter page, and I don't even know if you're on Twitter. If you are, hit me up. Decaf Panda Games. You can look me up. I've been actually tweeting a lot of your GIF files, and you can see this one I got pinned. Got 52 likes, 21 retweets. A lot of people are enjoying them. You can most certainly hit me up here, but just to make things easy, I got this GIF running here, and it seems like this explosion right where my mouse is, you you probably even have that. I would imagine that's a separate piece. I'm trying to see if I can freeze it. I really like this. So if that'd be like almost like a jumping off point, I just had it. If that could be a jumping off point, trying to get this thing to go where I want it, but I'm sure you've seen this sprite because you drew it. So something like this circular. I really like this blast. If we could get something, maybe start with this as like the baseline, and then just maybe make it a little bit bigger. The one thing I want to make sure that we do with these explosions is that it's within this same transparency box, because now everything is lined up as far as like the X and Y axis and everything like that of when I create an explosion after an actor dies. So if you create the art to this exact transparency, I won't have to switch anything. Like it won't be like, oh, if smoke RNG attribute equals 3, create blast explosion number 2 at X, Y, blah, 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 blah. I'd just be able to copy and paste the current code, and I wouldn't have to worry about relining up the explosions to make sure, because none of this stuff is X of self, Y of self. It's a little bit different. It's like X of self plus 15 and like Y of self, minus 20 or something like that to get this thing. So it's not just a cut and dry X of self, Y of self lineup. So that being said, I mean, long story short, as long as we stay within this, which is a transparency of 112 width and 128th height, and just make sure it's centered within that transparency. It can be bigger. Like, you see how this smoke cloud where my mouse isn't quite reaching to the outsides of the screen? I'm fine if it's bigger, just as long as it's within this transparency and it's centered within this transparency. That way, I'll just be able to kind of copy and paste the code, and then when I do the attribute that does like the RNG, which picks it when the enemy is killed, everything will be lined up, and I won't have to be tweaking this explosion left or right, and it'll just save me a lot of time. But I really like, as a jumping off point, if we could start with something that you've already created with this kind of an explosion. I don't even know what the sprite size is with this. I'm sure you have it. It's probably very close to what we have. So I like this because it's energy, it's blast, it's fire. I'm looking for that kind of explosion. So if we could get something, I mean, if this is the right size, I wouldn't even mind just this exact sprite and call it done, because I really like this. I want to just start doing some more explosions and just have some different looks and just make things more exciting. I might even do something like when a certain explosion is created, when when that explosion is created, you know, it'll probably die off in like, I think I have these things killing themselves after like 0.35 seconds or something like that, like 350 milliseconds. I might the entire time it's created, like every 0.075 seconds, like every 75 milliseconds, create more explosions. So it'd be at like a random x and y integer, plus or minus 100, x and y plus minus 100 or something. So it would create like a, you know, it would quickly create like 3 or 4 explosions within the one explosion. I just want to get some more eye candy on there and just some different looks. So, you know, blast, energy, that kind of thing. I'm really want to stay away from clouds because we already have that. And here's just one more. This one, and I want to do one other one. If we could just get 2 different ones that are like this blast, and like I said, maybe even we just use this one right off of the bat if it's the right size or very close to. You might have to do a small minor tweaking to get it within that transparency, which was, again, by the way, 112 width by 128 height. Because the explosion is actually a little bit bigger on the screen because I grow them all, and which the code's already there. Anyway, one other one, and this is going to be bigger than this transparency. I love this game. This is like an indie game that I've been following, and I just love, you can just see on the screen here, I just love the explosions in this game. Like, just look at the game feel here and what they do with it. And it's, if you cut it down, it's, the sprites are actually fairly simple. I just love the fireball explosions. Let me see if I can get some good like right there. See how this like creates this like cluster? It's almost like these fireballs. No smoke in these ones either. It's all fire. So it creates this like cluster bomb of 4, and then it kind of explodes off. You know. You don't just let it play. Like, you can see how it explodes, like right there, like one where my mouse is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like this cluster explosion. It's almost like a parachute of explosions kind of coming up. I would really love some feeling like this. Like, see how you get at the end there, you can really see when he's blowing up that skeleton. And that's what gave me the idea for my death animations in this game, something like that, which is a very common thing in games nowadays. But like, see these explosions here? It creates this like cluster bomb, and then it just has this animation where it kind of goes up and then it just kind of fades away. And it's just different looks, just different explosions. I think would really, especially if I made them random depending on what enemy, I think would really give you know, a good feel to this game. So on to the lottery thing. So let me know what you think about that. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to cut this video short right now just to make sure these videos don't run over. And I'll do 2 videos, and we'll hit up the lottery thing right after this one.